président, passer le pouvoir à un anglophone. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'aventure? Après ça, le président, un pauvre qui vote ou celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Après ça, le président.
Hi, good day to the beautiful people of the Cameroons. This is a party political broadcast by myself, Maitre Alex Ndiveli Singer, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Whenever British Cameroon National Party sneezes, a to the catches cold. Why? Because we are the only constructive and effective political party that scrutinize and hold the government of La République du Cameroon to account. You bear me witness. We are different. What we do is to change the lives of the people, not just to come and shout. If you look at most Western world, if you have a non-functional government like La République du Cameroon, it's because there is a weak opposition. In the Cameroons, opposition are just window dressing exercise. In the Cameroons, most people will tell you that SDF is an opposition. SDF is not an opposition. Most people will say Bello Buba is an opposition. Bello Buba is not an opposition. They will say Jean Didier Momo or Minister Chiruma, they are opposition. They are not. Even like Daikole Daisala, he was not an opposition. Once as you join the government, you are in coalition with the government, you are no longer an opposition. Opposition is officially recognized in most Western democracy. Someone will ask me, how come that SDF was an opposition and blah, blah, blah. Listen, the day SDF accepted to take a second place in the National Assembly, the legislative body in Cameroon, and Bandam was the vice president, they were in coalition with the CPDM, but most people don't know that because we don't know that we are in British Cameroon National Party. We are professional politicians. We have studied this for more than 30 years. When I mean study, not in class. We have done politics abroad, back home, and we understand the art of politics. However, what brings me here today is not just about constructive and effective opposition, because our party political broadcast is to scrutinize the government and give alternative. Like in the Cameroons, Mr. Biya hasn't got any policies. If you ask on health, on economic, on policing, on justice, on France CFA, on forestry, on foreign policy, nothing. You don't even see him. And when the opposition, they want to challenge Mr. Biya, they do the same thing like Mr. Biya. So they are not opposition. The only genuine opposition in La République du Cameroon and British Cameroon is British Cameroon National Party. We see everything that we have said for more than 30 years have come to pass. When people start killing each other and doing this, we say, no, we have learned for more than 20-25 years, the people of Scotland, the people of Catalan, the people of Northern Ireland, the people of Quebec, Catalonians, they are using the non-violent way in order to have greater autonomy or independence. So why do you need a gun when you can achieve it by doing politics? Politics is alternative to war. Today, my message to Etude, when I always come, I always like to focus on Etude rather. Why? Because there's only one government in La République, and we are an alternative. We are a government in waiting. We believe we have the policies, we have the probity, we have the integrity to replace CNU, chop people their money that have been there and they have changed their name to CPDM. So today, my challenge is to the CNU rebranded CPDM, especially the leader of their party, Mr. Paul Biya, who is the president of La République du Cameroon. I will start by saying Mr. Biya discriminates against his people a lot. I will give you some quotes. Mr. Biya does not follow the constitution of the Cameroons. Mr. Biya doesn't. He does not respect the laws, including his unelected governors, DOs, and other ministers. They don't respect the laws. I will read from the Constitution of La République du Cameroon. Article 65 says, the preamble of the Constitution is part and parcel of the Constitution. So I want to read from the preamble. This is what the preamble says. It's an extract. Resolve to harness our natural resources in order to ensure the well-being of every citizen. Listen, the well-being of every citizen, not province, not region, not tribe, not family, every citizen. Okay? That's what they call without discrimination, by raising the living standard, proclaim our rights to develop as well as to determine to devote our effort. I will end there. The most important part is resolve to harness our natural resources. Then for the well-being of every citizen, that's every individual. That's what it means. Without discrimination, to raise the living standard. Okay, what does resolve means? Resolve means that's our constitution. Firmly determined to do something. That's what it means. That's like I can determine that I want to end this problem. That's what the constitution says, not Mr. Biya. There's a difference between President Paul Biya and the constitution of the Cameroons. Mr. Biya must respect the constitution. He cannot say, oh, I did not know. He must. That's what he should do. So what does Mr. Biya do? Harness. That's to control our natural resources in order to do what? Let me read it again. Raise the living standard of every citizen to ensure the well-being. Raising, is it what? Living standard. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, all of us we know, whether it's from British Cameroon or La République Cameroon, is Mr. Biya following the constitution of the Cameroons? Because he has to use the natural resources for the interest of every citizen, not region, not tribe, not family, every individual. My question I'm asking Mr. Biya, why are you not following the constitution of the Cameroons? In the Cameroons, every individual must have the basic necessity of life. We don't have it. People don't have water. People don't have electricity while others they have. So why are you not respecting the constitution? Even if we have 1 million francs CFA, you have to partition that 1 million francs CFA to all the individuals in Cameroon. That's the roads in the Cameroon. You need to tar all the roads. And how do you do it in a democratic country? You don't go by presidential degree and decide which road to do. Our policies in British Cameroon National Party to solve this problem, when we have our natural resources, we sell it, it has to be transparent. You have to give it to all the ethnicities. Example, I can go to the people of Manu. I say, okay, this is what we have this year. This is the budget. You give the budget to the people of Manu. The elected people, whether it's a local council there, they will be the one to decide whether they want electricity, water, road, pipe-borne water, airport, or whatever. It's not up to Mr. Biya. That's how you develop a country. And that's the policies of British Cameroon National Party. So Mr. Biya does not even respect his own constitution. I will leave this and I will go another quote again from Mr. Biya. My point is, you cannot be a president, then you discriminate. I will quote something. What Mr. Biya said, is it on the 10th of September 2019? I want to quote, this is what Mr. Biya said. I want to read again. I want to tell you, Mr. Biya is promoting apartheid in the Cameroons. Some people are benefiting from the natural resources, others are not. And the Constitution says they have to use the natural resources to raise the living standard of every citizen. That's the Constitution. Whether you're CPDM or whether you're from any political party, do Mr. Biya, does he use the natural resources to raise standard for all the citizens? No. He select which road I want, which deep sea port I want, where there should be international airport. So he doesn't do that. He doesn't use the resources to raise the living standard of all the citizens in La République de Cameroon and British Cameroon. So Mr. Biya is in breach of the Constitution. He's the Alpha and the Omega. And when I'm giving this party political broadcast, what we should know in constitutional law, there are two Mr. Biya. Let me put it this way. Mr. Biya, the president of La République du Cameroon, and Mr. Biya as an individual. On my program, I am not here to talk about Mr. Biya as an individual, a family man. I'm talking as Mr. Biya, the president of La République du Cameroon. A president is a function. An individual, you're a family man, you have your family and your private life. So I'm talking about this president who doesn't know how to use his own law, who does not respect the Constitution of the Cameroons. Let me quote what Mr. Biya said on September 10th, 2019. Listen what he said. It refers to Northwest and Southwest, then the other regions. This is what Mr. Biya says. The supposed feeling of marginalization by the people of Northwest and Southwest regions has often been advanced to justify this crisis. That's what Mr. Biya said. On this score, I'm quoting Mr. Biya, I wish to remind our compatriots in these regions, but also those in the other 8 regions of Cameroon, that marginalization, exclusion, or stigmatization has never guided the work of the various governments I have formed since I became president of our country. Is that true? Let me tell you how Mr. Biya started the marginalization. This is how he started. When Mr. Biya became president, now after some time, that's in 2008, we were called provinces. La République had 5 provinces, yeah? Then British Cameroon had 2 provinces. I'm talking after the Aijo whatsoever, you know what I'm talking. Not immediately after independence. When Mr. Biya came to power, what did he do? He signed a presidential decree creating 3 more regions for people of La République du Cameroon. 3 more. He separated Central South, separated Adamawa and North. He gave 3 more regions. He changed it from province. To me, there are no differences when it comes to political implication. What is the implication now? And I want to ask, why did Mr. Biya give, is it 3 more regions to the French part of the Cameroons? Why? Some of you think there are no advantages. There are advantages. When you create new regions in the French part of Cameroon, that's 3 regions. When you're making the budget now, you have to give separate budget. Instead of Central South having the same budget now, they will have 2 more. You know, they are almost similar tribes, the Beti, the Eton and other things, they are similar. So now they have helped their side, their tribe. by making sure they will have a governor, have more DOs, have this thing. The same too with far north, Adamawa that was separated too. So the French part of the Cameroons have been benefiting more than the English part. So that's discrimination. I will tell you, and that's marginalization. I will, in a lesser term, in a layman's term, what's marginalization? The act of placing a person or a thing in a lesser importance. The act of placing a person or a thing in a position of lesser importance, influence, or power. So some people in Cameroon are lesser than others. And to me, we are from different parts of the Cameroons. To me, why I'm fighting, British Cameroon National Party is interested in former British Cameroon. Whether you don't have electricity in your own side, the essence to become a politician or a member of parliament is to fight for your constituency. Although the Constitution of La République du Cameroon says an MP is national. No, MP, you fight for your constituent. You fight for them, that's your job. You fight for them. Except you're made a minister that you can fight for the whole country. So that's it. And Mr. Biya says he doesn't discriminate or whatever. He doesn't marginalize or stigmatize or exclude people. Under what basis do they make ministers in Cameroon? Because to me, we are not regions. Why do you make ministers or appoint ministers or allow them to be elected like some countries? Why do you think you have to make them that they come from a particular region? Why not competence? Sometimes I find it incongruous and grotesque that Mr. Biya will come and say, and some top government official, they have given us Anglophone as Prime Minister. They have given Anglophone as Minister of Territorial Administration. We are not interested in those things. An Anglophone is not there because of Anglophones. You're not Minister of Territorial Administration or Prime Minister. The Minister of Territorial Administration is a minister for the whole Cameroons, not for Anglophone. The Prime Minister is the minister for the whole Cameroons, not for Anglophones. So when you say you have given us certain position, on what basis? The only time you can give us that position is if you allow us to elect our own official directly. You allow us to govern ourselves. You allow us to make our own educational health policy, stop gendarme from the English part of Cameroon. That's when we are going to run our own area. And one of the ways to stop nepotism is to allow whether every local people, every tribe, every ethnicity, if they elect their official, not the list system, elect their parliamentarians or MP directly, then they can appoint that parliamentarian as a minister. And we, the issue here, the two institutions, that's our policy, British Cameroon National Party, we inherited different institutions. We are not going to be complaining if we have our own English institution in Goya, not in Yaoundé. We don't need gendarme. What is the job of a gendarme or police? Police is to fight crime, to maintain law and order, to enforce law. So why do we need gendarme? We don't need it. So at the end of the day, the CPDM government is so confused that they mix everything. The CPDM, they don't know how to run a country. They don't know. And Mr. Biya, in accordance with the Constitution of Cameroon, have been marginalizing other Cameroonians, have been excluding other Cameroonians, and have been stigmatizing other Cameroonians. I don't mind. Let British Cameroons have more than 10 regions. I don't care. It's just a region. It's geographical location. But they have to maintain our institutions. People don't need to go to Yaoundé to chase dossiers. The mistake we make sometimes is because we look at politics of personality cult. I don't want anybody to like me. Read our policies. The first political party in the Cameroon that have been talking about policies for more than 30 years. In the UK, we don't need to go and register a political party. If I like, I can stand for election. All I need to do is to follow the procedures of the Electoral Commission. In the UK, that's what we want in British Cameroon. I don't need to go and be telling people to go and register for election. Every local council, they have your name. We have a general election on the 4th of July. About a month ago, local council wrote to me that there is an election. The Prime Minister have called an election. Confirm if you're still living in the same address. And if something have changed, if there is somebody living with me, I will add the name there. You don't tell people to go and register to vote. The local council, the elected people who are there, they should be registering people. We don't need elecam to do that. But the reason they want elecam is because elecam were appointed by the CPTM government. You don't need elecam. The local council can register everybody automatically. I've registered in my local council. Maybe for the next 30 years, I don't need to register anymore. I can re-register only if I change my address. So that's important. So that is very important.